Decorating Center. And a good morning to you on this President's Day. I'm Art Lewis. Nice to have you with us. Coming up after the 10 o'clock news, Mike Avery, our outdoor expert, and Deidre Hurley will be with us to talk about their upcoming Wild Game Dinner at Trinity Monterey and some other issues. At 11 o'clock, we'll learn about Karmanos Cancer Center. All of that ahead this morning. But for this hour, we start out saying good morning to State Representative Tim Beeson from the 96th District. Tim, good morning.
Good morning, Art, and happy birthday a couple days late.
Gee, thanks.
I saw it.
Another day, another number. Well.
You're only as old as you feel.
Yeah, well, that's two different ages. See, your mind tells you like, oh, you're only 50. Your body reminds you that your mind is a liar. Anyway, want to chat about a couple of things on this President's Day. I will start with the state budget because that'll be in the news very much here after the governor makes her State of the State address and all of that. She's already put out some notions about some senior tax relief and some other issues. What are you looking for in this new budget?
Well, in the new 26-27 budget, and I'm sorry, I'm just getting over a little bit of a cold.
Yeah, you sound like it.
Yeah, I'm sounding like more of an adult, I think, with a raspy voice. But so with that 2026-27 budget, I am, and I hope the rest of my colleagues, we're not looking to rein the rainy day fund and increase taxes and fees because, everybody says, well, we're only increasing the fees. That's the same as a tax. When you increase something in the cost of goods, it's definitely another tax. So we're dug in with our leadership, and we're going after some more of the funds that are locked up in work projects that are not been spent and trying to get them to use those, plus the restricted funds that just because that they're in restricted funds, let's use those first instead of the general fund dollars. So we're pushing hard, and we don't need to grow the government anymore with employees because it's funny, our state legislators have had 3 employees for the entire time I've been here. We've never got one more than the 3, and it's been like that since the 2000s, but our government seems to have a lot more employees to do the same job.
Yeah, she's proposing, what, another 1,000 employees?
No, it's about time. We don't have that surplus of federal money coming in anymore. We need to give a haircut to the employees at the state level and go after the full-time equivalent jobs that are not filled, cut them from the budget, and kind of live in our means, right? Like you do that, we do that, and the state should do that as well.
And you're on the House Appropriations Committee, right?
Yes, I am on I've been on the full approps ever since I've been in this position, and I'm also the chair of LARA, License and Regulatory Affairs, and the Insurance DIF.
Yeah,
so
well, we'll get to LARA here in a little bit. we'll get there. But there's a couple of things that the governor has proposed money for bringing up the reading scores in this state. We have been throwing more and more money at education every budget, yet the scores go down, not up. Is money the answer?
Listen, you and I both know a broken system is not fixed by more money, right? It just puts a more expensive broken system. We've got to really look at some pilot programs with the literacy, and we also can't keep changing everything. And we did meet with the new director of MED, Michigan Department of Education, and he seems like it's going to be maybe a breath of fresh air. But once again, just like politicians, they go in full blast, right? They're going to change everything, fix everything, and then
reality
7 years later, like the last guy, and they got worse, right? So we need some accountability for the department heads.
It seems to me, Tim, just as a general principle, we have thousands of very competent, good teachers in this state. But are their hands being tied?
You are hit it 100%. And two of those are my sisters. Reach out to Amy and Connie. I don't say the last names. They're great teachers in the state. But we put more we put more emphasis on the paperwork that they have to fill out, just like the businesses. Our state has got to get out of the way. We need rest for our teachers too. And they got to quantify everything. Like, okay, let's see the data. The teachers know how to teach kids. They're passionate about doing it. We need to get out of the way and let the teachers do their job, just like we do for businesses. But our state is a gotcha state, and once they got some formula that works, they're like, well, let's see how you're doing it, and we'll make everybody do it that way. And it's different throughout the whole state. You got to let the teachers do what they do best, and they teach kids.
Yeah, and
paperwork is not their gig.
The other thing we've done, it seems to me, I'm not an educator. I never studied how to be one, but it just seems to me we spend a lot of time teaching to the test rather than the content and subject.
And I agree. I think that we need to get rid of the traditional sit in the stool. It wasn't for me. Like, I had to learn a different way. I had to learn by going and seeing. And we got to get these young people out of the seats. And everybody's like, in the seat. Man, it does not work. Our teaching structure does not work for all the students sitting in, because we can't do that. Otherwise, we would have all our shop businesses around here full with people working that want to stay 8 hours and 10 hours on a line. It doesn't work. No. And we have good jobs around here that we can't even fill.
Someone told me, and I'll ask you this, I don't know how true it is. Are you or were you dyslexic?
I am dyslexic.
You are?
I didn't know it all the way through college. I took the test my junior year, and it was in the hall between the library and the administration building at Cardinal Hall, and they took a test, and they're like, how did you get through college? And I said, you just learn a different way. I basically got to read the paragraph 4 or 5 times for the words to line up. And down in Lansing, they give me reading programs. And even my Democrat policy friend, Michaela, she was amazing. She even gave it to me in dyslexic form, all the bills. So I built some good friends,
really?
Even across the aisle. Yeah, right?
So you still suffer from it then?
Yeah, so I don't use words like everybody else. And it's a superpower. Dyslexic young people and people that are maybe on the spectrum, they have a talent because they can figure stuff out faster than everybody else because they've already failed once and they brought it back, or they figured it out the backwards. It has to work already at the end and then come back and figure out how to do it. But and I love Reading Month because all the kids that are picture book readers, that's what I was, because I can understand that, right?
Yeah.
And I hold up 2 books like Charlotte's Web, and I hold up like a comic book, and the people that say, who likes the reading book like Charlotte's Web? And I like the book as long as somebody reads it to me, right? But and then I hold up the comic book, and then they say, I said, good, the 3 of you guys can be the state rep because that's how I learned. So they, you know what? It gives them hope.
I relate to it. I'm not dyslexic, but I build model ships, and a lot of the kits come with written instructions and photos of what to do. And I find myself dispensing with the written instructions because I'm a visual person. I can visualize it from the photo and do the job. And I know some dyslexic folks that are that way, that, you look at the picture and it tells you what to do.
And you know what? Some people criticize you when you do something like that. And I think to myself, oh, you fool, I've made it this far in life being dyslexic.
Yeah.
And then it's like, they're like, oh, look at little Timmy, you can't spell. Little Timmy. I'm like, well, I've kind of been pretty successful. I had a business that I bought from my father for 20 years, and I'm your state representative, and I'm going to keep moving up. And I appreciate the fact that you find my little bit of a situation funny or make fun of me, but it's okay. I mean, you got to laugh at something, and I'm thinking to myself, well, good for them.
Yep. Well, dyslexia is not a preventative of success. There's a gentleman in Saginaw, Terry Duperrin, who is well known. He's dyslexic, very dyslexic. He owns a major company. He's got more patents to his name. He's very creative, and never let it stand in his way.
No, you just got to surround yourself by people that are not, right. So they're like they help you get through today, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yes.
No, we all need people to help us. I don't care whether you're dyslexic or not. I think we all could use
Yep.
people to help us through life.
That's true.
All right. Timmy, hang on. Got to take a break. We'll come back. We're talking to Tim Beeson, 96 District State Representative, and we'll have more ahead.
We asked Dow Credit Union members.
Family, proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white.
All right, we're back with you. Talking to State Representative Tim Beeson from the 96th District. Tim, there was money that wasn't spent from our previous budget that the Republicans put a hold on, like $600 and some odd million. Part of that included funding for the Lafayette Bridge, and I think you are trying to recover like $1.6 billion. How's that fight going?
1.6 million, not billion.
A million. I meant million, yeah.
Okay.
That'd be a heck of a bridge.
So actually, it's funny because I like the way the last couple of budgets have went this last budget, because we have transparency in that heat bill that makes it so this could have been prevented, right? Like, I'm not trying to be mean here, but I will work hard and I'll get the money back in the 30 days, the 30 months that it's going to take to get the bridge built. That they have to have the funds at the end of the time. That's not my problem. My problem was a lot of earmarks in Lansing until this last year. They would put earmarks in and they would just not vent them to see if they're good or if they're even legal to do. So, I mean, if you look at that was a earmark that was gotten from our last senator, and her current husband sat on the board. And it actually, the first line says, does your husband or wife or spouse sit on a board? And it did, and it was a conflict of interest. And if we would have prevented that back in the day, maybe that year that they got that, she could have been, we could have handled that different. So going forward, I love the fact that we have to, all the initiative directed spending that we have to do, it's called LDSI, in Lansing, your state rep has to go sit in front of a board of oversight and ask for the money, bring in your people, and explain why you need it in your area. I think it's amazing, and it's the first time ever since I've been there that we actually started doing that.
The only question I would have about it is, are these boards balanced politically, or are they lopsided?
No, so the Senate has one and the House has one. So it isn't like Sarah Anthony's bill and Tom Coonce's bill. So they divided it up the way that they're supposed to, and that's how I came in. They both got a bill, a PA, Act, and the Senate has to do it, and so does the House have to do it. So they have to answer to somebody. Before, stakeholders could put some last-minute deal in, and you're like, well, how did that get in the budget?
Yeah.
It wasn't like there was nobody that could fight for it. And when a department head puts money in the budget because they need it, right? But nobody, we have to take the calls as your state representative or your senator. We have to take the calls for these bad spending habits, and we're like, well, we didn't know about it. Now, in any line item, legislative directive of spending, like an earmark, the federal level, they call them earmarks or something else. They have to put their name to it, and they have to be excited that they got it for their area instead of like, oh, I don't know how that got there.
Yeah. So the bridge money, though, you're certain, or you feel certain, that it'll
Yes.
come back into
No.
the fold?
I am certain. I'm working with my leadership team, making sure that they know that's my priority. And of course, and it is a priority because I've stopped 2 other bridges in the state of Michigan since I've been in Lansing that were going to get bought by private, sold by public. And I'm like, do not do that. It's dividing our city so bad right now, in our county, from one side, east versus west, because it's tough to go across. If you guys want to have 2,800 emails and phone calls, you guys do this. If you don't want to have that problem, don't sell your bridges. Do not lease your bridges. Do not get rid of your bridges. Otherwise, just try to figure a better way. So I've been able to stop a couple of those in the state of Michigan in my 5 years I've been there.
Yeah, it's too bad Bay City was the guinea pig.
Yeah, and that's not the future. The future is not tolls, at least not while I'm in office. I don't want to have a toll bridge when you go up to Tawas. If you go a back road, that's not a dot road, like a I-75 or a US 23 or a M road. I don't want to drive across some bridge or some drain and get a $2 fee assessed to me 2 weeks later, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not a good practice to have.
So, and the construction continues, so I assume they have funding for the bridge. What the $1.6 million is for? What? Just part of the budget?
That's the city amount that they have to put in when you have to put in something. The way that
okay, now I got it. So this is the part that the city would have
city
to
has
match.
Correct. Well, yeah, and it's like they're putting out this much, so it's I don't know, I think it was 70 to 90 million. It's probably going to be more, but and the Department of Transportation will pick up everything but the 1.6. So you got to have a city in too, because that's how it goes, right? They get revenue dollars and they figure it all out.
Yeah. Well, what's going to be interesting about the bridge situation is by the time they're done with the Lafayette Bridge, they're going to have to take a serious look at the Veterans Bridge because of all the traffic it's had to handle because of the closure of Lafayette and the tolls on the other two.
Well, you are right, but they've been doing some nighttime closures and doing some general maintenance at nighttime. So they're trying to keep it up, right? And that's not the problem. The problem I see coming is in 2 years, 2.5 years, when everybody has to pay to go across the 2 bridges, and the Bay City residents no longer get it for free, and they're used to taking that pattern, and we jam all that traffic on the. Hopefully we have the other bridge up and going. So I'm very eager and to get the other bridge up and going because it will matter then.
What's the out of curiosity? What's the sense of your fellow legislators about bridge projects like this?
Well, so the problem is we have 4 bridges.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 4 lift bridges, and I mean, there's a lot of money in a lift bridge, right? And remember when we were originally getting these bridges, and they kind of got everybody on board, they did the old switcheroo. We were going to have a great big brand new bridge, right? That was never a lift. Remember the switcheroo game, right?
Yeah, that was going to be the New Liberty. No, the Independence. The Independence.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's a saying now down in Lansing. The only thing that's not free is the Independence and Liberty Bridge and Peace Pass. So, and I just went across the Mackinac Bridge this last week for $4. I got almost a 5 mile from one end to the next. Beautiful bridge ride for $4.
Yeah.
Worthy of $4. That crossing worthy of 50 cents.
Well, and the transparency from the bridge partners wasn't there either. I mean, it was, nobody knew.
Well, they also don't have a bridge authority attached. So that was so if they ever did something like that again, they got to put a bridge authority attached where you get people on both sides and some both. Then you got a couple people from the both political parties, and you got then the business. So they have to work together instead of the dictatorship like they have now.
Yeah, you have some local control.
Yeah, I mean, just something because the people. But remember, we do have 4 bridges, so that's the problem. Is for the size of our county, I think we're 103,000 people. We have 4 lift bridges across one body of water, and I'm not sure anybody else has that.
No, and what people have to realize too is those lift bridges are mandated because it's a navigable waterway by Coast Guard standards. you have to be able to get commercial shipping through there.
And they were there first, right? I'm not trying to be mean,
Yeah,
right?
no, they were, yeah.
I mean, the trains, the boats, right? Automobiles. Pretty soon it's going to be flying cars. Like, we'll be like, oh, but what about that lift bridge? It's
Okay.
funny you say that, but maybe someday you and I will get into one of those new cars they got with the wings.
Yeah, maybe. I won't count on it, but maybe. Hang on, Tim. I'll take a break, and we'll be back. We're talking to State Representative Tim Beeson. More coming up after these notes.
For 60 years...
All right, welcome back here on WSGW, talking to State Representative Tim Beeson, who also chairs the License and Regulatory Committee, and we're going to go to that now. There's been a lot of talk, Tim, about how difficult it can be to deal with the state and requirements and regulations and permitting. Where are we with trying to smooth that process out?
Well, I agree, and that's why I got into this job. It is hard to sometimes get license or regulation out of your way. And it's even harder sometimes for them to get you the license you require in a ample amount of time for you to be in business, right? Because and even some of the new legislation that we're working with Bill Schuette on making it so we have better compacts with other states, and we got some big ones coming up for the doctors and some PAs, and so that they don't have to put 150 hours in. Like the idea that our license and regulatory affairs, that association or that department is trying to make it more difficult for you to stay licensed, and it's unless something has changed, I'm like, no, and it should be a 5-year license every 5 years, not every 2. And unless something comes up where they have to have a massive change because of a new regulation or they found something else that is, we need to make our licenses longer, last longer, so you're not in wasting time doing the same thing every year, every 2 years, over and over.
Would and I hate the word assume, but I'm going to assume there is a difference in obtaining a liquor license as opposed to just a regular everyday retail small business.
Okay, so liquor licenses are they're delegated by counties. They're not an infinite number like there are on the marijuana licenses.
Right.
And you can actually make money if you have a liquor license. You're only allowed to hold it for so many years, either 4 or 5 years, depending on what license you have. And then, because I know I'm coming up on mine, but I just have a beer and wine liquor license, which nobody's really drinking anymore. I mean, in Michigan they are, but the statistics have gone way down when legalized marijuana came in, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a swap, right? So, but your liquor license to serve liquor and drinks are harder to still come by, and it requires some paperwork. But Michigan Liquor Control has been getting better. Some places say that they have had better companies that have already had 1 or 2 licenses are easier to work with because they understand they've already gone through it. But it shouldn't be like that. It should be easy for everybody to get one or no. But remember, our state does not tell you what's wrong. They just say it's not filled out right.
Yeah, it's not a shall issue. The thing I hear about the liquor control law is that they're given as an applicant, you're given a list of what they need. So you fill out, you spend a lot of money and a lot of time filling all that paperwork out, and then you give them that paperwork. And then a month or 2 down the road, they say, oh, by the way, we need over and above. And then a month or 2 after that, oh, we need. It seems like they keep adding to it.
Well, that's that gotcha attitude, right? Like they got you because that's what they did when they came into my business. They said, you're going to do what we say because that license is on the wall. So they kind of got you by the hair, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, right. But they're pulling you up. But we're working with them, and I don't think you're going to see a change in that and a change in a lot of our departments until we have a change at the top.
Which, who knows? I mean, it's
right. You're exactly right. Who knows? But I hope the next one does better for small businesses than the current one. And I see hope. I see hope. Like maybe the new one coming in will be like the MDE director, and will be able to listen to the teachers and not just the administration, right? Or the lobbyists, right? And actually listen to the people that are doing the job, because the small businesses are getting closed, and we're having trouble staffing and keeping and retaining young people.
Yeah, that's a big issue. We train them and then they leave the state.
Well, let's talk about that. You said something, and maybe it'll be this. You said something that for our seniors for tax, but what about the kids coming out of college? We don't have anything for them neither to try to buy a house. I mean, we got a problem. We've got a problem with our tax structure for housing.
Well, we have a problem with housing. It used to be you could build a 1,500 square foot starter home, nice ranch, sell it for $150,000. You build that home today, it's $450,000. And how does that a starter home anymore for anybody? We have a problem with low and moderate income housing.
Yep. Yes, sir. And the people that live in these houses, our older population, which is mine, 62 and a half is my average customer. I call them customers. The seniors, and they want to try to figure some way to get a tax relief a little bit, but everybody deserves the relief, not just the seniors.
Yeah, and that, of course, and the other thing, too, is that a lot of the smaller homes and less expensive homes, the people in them either have no mortgage or 2 or 3% mortgage, and they don't want to turn around and move into a 5 or 6% mortgage home, which they probably have to do, which they don't want to do. I don't blame them.
And then they're going to uncap their tax when they go to the new one, and they're going to pay more in taxes and less in the house payment. But that's not a win-win. I tell that to my wife. I say, we're not moving. When the kids because our tax structure is good. When we go to buy the next one, it will be bad because we're going to uncap it.
All right, Tim, hang on for one more final segment, and we will be back. Tim Beeson is our guest. He is the 96th District State Representative. Let me take a moment to tell you about my friends at Quick Lane Freeland and McDonald Ford. Yes, it is still winter, and if you don't believe it, just wait around. The temperatures are going to go down again. There'll be more precipitation, so you're going to continue to have to worry about winter driving at least for a little while longer. And one of the things that contributes to your safety is the quality of your tire. And there are winter tires designed to keep you on the road during the winter. I've asked John from Quick Lane Freeland, where, by the way, they sell all their tires at just $5 over cost. All season, winter, doesn't matter. All their tires they sell for $5 over cost. So John's going to tell you, what's the difference between a winter tire and an all-season tire?
Hello, Art. Yes, winter tires are made with a pliable rubber compound that includes silica to stay flexible and maintain grip in freezing temperatures, unlike harder all-season tires which stiffen and lose traction in the cold. This flexible compound allows the tire to better conform to the road surface, providing superior grip and traction on snow and ice to keep you safe.
Which is what it's all about, John. Thank you. Keeping everybody safe. Have your tires checked. Matter of fact, all your routine maintenance you can have done right there at Quick Lane Freeland. And while you're there, you might as well take a look at the new lineup of Ford products at McDonald Ford and their pre-owned lot, where they have many, many fine vehicles, and not just Fords either. I'm driving one of their cars now. I'm driving a 2023 Lincoln Nautilus that is part of that lot. Stop in today. Visit them at Quick Lane Freeland and McDonald Ford. These are two names that stand ready to help you with all of your automotive needs in 2026.
Gotta go.
Into your hair. What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
Back with you in a final segment with State Representative Tim Beeson. Tim, so where do you expect in terms of time, the budget to finally be approved? Are we going to have a late spring budget, or is it going to go like it did last year through the whole summer?
Well, I would think that because of the election,